Welcome to the virtual lunch. Today is Monday, August 1st, and this is virtual lunch number 608. Our guests today are Bruce Alltop and Craig Brown of Gladstone Growth Strategies. And this is part of our series on revenue operations with Nexel. Bruce, Craig, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Ari. Thanks, everybody. So nice seeing you again. Thanks for having both of us. With respect to my background, I spent the vast majority of my life in the professional services space. The vast majority of that before Ernst & Young was spent in the environmental consulting space. So I sold laboratory services, consulting, engineering, et cetera. And so that's kind of what got me ready for my experience I was recruited away from the engineering world into Ernst & Young, and was quickly promoted into a leadership role at Ernst & Young in Metro New York, the largest business unit on the planet for Ernst & Young. And so as a result, we built a lot of the tools and processes that are currently being used at Ernst & Young right there in business unit 001 in Metro New York. And so I spent about 6 years of my career commuting to New York City. And then next thing I know, I started getting recruited by law firms in particularly in Boston. And I had met my wife in Boston many years before that. We've been together 33 years now. And so we always wanted to move back to Boston. And so as it turns out, I accepted a chief marketing officer position with Mintz Levin. And I ultimately left there because my managing partner, who was a visionary, left that organization. And I ended up going to another firm, Holland & Knight, where I was there another 4.5 years. And in 2012, decided that it was time for me I turned 50. I decided that if ever I was going to start my own business, it was then or never. And it wasn't a week later, I got a call from a firm that you guys may be familiar with, LawVision. And they said, we don't want you as a competitor. We'd like you to join us. And so I joined LawVision. And it wasn't a week or two later where Craig and I met. And so he and I have known each other for the better part of 10 years, maybe 11 years now. And so I'll stop there and ask Craig to take it from there. And maybe he can just segue into the genesis of Gladstone Growth Partners. Over to you, Craig.
Great. Thanks. So nice to meet all of you. There's a lot of energy on the screen. Ari kicked us off. I thought, wow, that's like a great voice, Ari. Just so much enthusiasm. So great to be here with all of you. I too am a lawyer by training. Rewired. That's a new word for me. Rewired. I think I'll use that instead of recovering. I practiced a short time a long time ago. So most of my career has been in sales. Most of that has been focused on all of it on law firms and the legal market. And at some point, I decided I wanted to do what I was doing on my own. And I was working for a company that was selling multi-million-dollar platforms, and I, on my own, couldn't do that. So I said, what do I know how to do? And I started teaching people how to sell, how to go out and get business. And I've done that now for close to 15 years. A good part of that's been with Bruce, and absolutely love it, enjoy it. I love finding someone who has spent a lot of time and money on their career and then gets to a brick wall and needs to learn how to do something a little different. It's really fun to work with very bright, capable people who have kind of an open blank canvas on a certain topic and help them with that. Just to segue into kind of how Bruce and I came together with Gladstone, we wanted to be able to look at what's in the market and how we can apply that to our clients. And one of the things that we found that we have the ability to do but weren't doing enough is benchmarking. As a part of our business, we talk to lots of firms and at many different levels, many different roles. And we feel that the firms don't share as much as they could, particularly we feel like chief marketing officers and people in marketing roles at law firms are somewhat of an island at their firms, and they don't have enough chance to benchmark, share information on a one-to-one basis in a real intimate setting. So we run a number of roundtables in addition to our coaching, training, our go-to-market strategy work that we do. And we found that that's been really helpful for us to understand our clients, but also to help them benchmark, compare. We talk about, they come together and they first they cry, and then they connect with one another, and then they compare. And then finally, the final C is cure, which try and come up with solutions for them. So a big part of Gladstone is that benchmarking piece, in addition to the typical things that we've done for a long time and have experience with helping people create business at law firms.
To Craig's point, we're really interested at a broad level in making sure that we're listening to the marketing, the business development, really the law firm leaders who are really tasked with a really hard job today, which is, how do you go out in the most competitive environment in the world today for law firms and really go and make hay, do really go out there and be able to generate more clients and do it really at scale in a really new world. So, the work that Craig and the work that Bruce is doing, and then, even the work that everybody on the call is doing, Nancy with her great stuff about personal branding on LinkedIn. It's all part of a sort of a new way that law firms can really succeed. And I think that's what we're all really about here, helping law firms sort of evolve to meet their client demands, and then also, run like a business. Revenue operations and Nexel is just a small part of that, which is just giving them the tools to really go out and execute.
Most of us on the call here today know they're all very closely linked together. And, one helps the other, one fails without the other being around. And so the primary distinction between sales and business development, there is a bit of a fine line there. But, we talk, Craig and I and others in this industry, we talk most often in terms of business development, primarily because sales is a dirty word. When I started at Ernst & Young, sales was a dirty word, and now they have sales executives. And so the same thing is true here in the legal space. And so, however, because there are so many folks on this call who really, truly understand sales and marketing, I like to draw the distinction between sales and business development as one's transactional, one's relational. And so the sales component that we put under that business development umbrella, the sales piece of it is the selling skills themselves, the closing skills themselves, targeting, the prospecting, that sort of thing. And so the technical aspects of it, the transactional component of generating revenue, then migrating over to the business development side of things, that's really more on the relational side of things, the relationship development side of things. And again, if our clients were on this call, I wouldn't draw this distinction primarily because it's confusing for them. They don't need to know the difference between sales and business development. But I do like to draw that distinction. But with our clients, we say business development is relationship development. And so we just group it under that one umbrella. And so sales and business development are very closely linked in that regard. And then on the marketing side of things, marketing helps get the message out to the market, right? And Nancy, for example, what she does for a living, in the days of digital, before that it was brochures and all of that stuff. But sales and marketing work hand in hand, helping each other be successful at their jobs. Marketing creates a message. Sales professionals take it to market. It works or it doesn't. If it doesn't work, they come back and they ask marketing to refine that message and so on and so on. And getting that feedback, working hand in glove with each other is very important.
When you sit down with CMOs or CMBDOs, what's today on the ground strategies specifically being not only conceptualized, but actually enacted?
The thing I see on CMOs' minds is being nimble and dealing with uncertainty. That said, I think that most people in that role, everyone is making sure that their firm is focused towards the market. One of the things they particularly hire Bruce to do is how do we face our firm to the market, which typically, when you drill it down, tends to at its core become an industry team discussion. And every firm is at a different place with industry teams and how they're facing themselves to the market.
Bruce Alltop and Craig Brown, everybody. Such a privilege to see you both again and to have you join us. And thanks, of course, to Nexel for supporting our series on revenue operations. What a great series. Thank you all.